In the March episode, I explain why the new foreign buyers ban doesn't affect the Sunshine Coast. Plus, you'll learn the easiest way to protect yourself from having your house sold out from under you.
Countries like Switzerland, Australia, and Mexico all have some version of a foreign buyers ban that limits who can buy what type of property in their country. Much has been made of a Canadian foreign buyers ban that just came into place in January of this year. Tony, what effect, if any, does that foreign buyers ban have here on the Sunshine Coast?
Most likely, I'd say zero impact. The only impact it could have would probably be to drive some foreign buyers here and maybe skew our prices a little bit, just with that additional, investment on the Sunshine Coast.
So how does a foreign buyers ban drive buyers to the Sunshine Coast?
Well, the foreign buyers ban is banning foreign buyers, I think, for the next 2 years to buy in certain parts of Canada. The majority of Canada is actually exempt from it. I mean, there are some holes in it. And the Sunshine Coast is one area based on our population where we're exempt from that ban. So if someone's looking to get their money out of a country and park it in real estate, as a lot of people have been doing in Canada and specifically Vancouver and Toronto, now those people can't do that in those areas, and so they're looking for areas that are exempt, and the Sunshine Coast is the closest area with an exemption as far as Vancouver is concerned. So one would assume that if they are going to park some money, this would be a pretty good fit. And the cat's kind of out of the bag right now with the Sunshine Coast. Like, a lot of people know its proximity and the amenities it has, and what a great lifestyle you can live here. So I wouldn't be surprised if some, but we haven't seen any really to this point. And we've got less than 2% foreign buyers at the moment on the Sunshine Coast, so it's probably not going to have a huge impact.
And I feel like this is something that's not kind of general knowledge. I was under the impression that a foreign buyers ban meant foreign buyers couldn't buy, period. So I wonder how many would-be foreign buyers and even realtors aren't aware that there are holes in the ban.
Even when we started researching, I mean, it took quite a bit of time to kind of get a general consensus that we are exempt based on those municipal census areas or whatever the guidelines were there. So, yeah, absolutely. I'd say that there quite a few people aren't aware that there is exemptions in general and that we are exempt specifically. I know there's rules on the coast I've spoken to which weren't aware of that.
Last month, there was a rash of stories about a small number of Torontonians that had their houses sold out from under them. Tony, what exactly happened there, and is there something that Sunshine Coasters need to be worried about?
First of all, I'd say it's extremely unlikely that anyone would have to worry about it. BC has one of the best land title systems in the world, and that does a lot to limit fraud. For someone to be able to do this, there's a myriad of things that have to kind of line up. First and foremost, you have to steal the person's identity. I mean, it could be if a lawyer and a realtor both missed a fake ID, or didn't do FINTRAC correctly or that kind of stuff. I mean, you'd have to have two people do that. And more than likely, it would be someone that's stolen an identity and has a legitimate government ID. So a realtor and a lawyer isn't going to know that. But then, they'd have to find a place where they can steal the ID, the people are away, the neighbours aren't going to know, and the title has to be clean, because if there's any charges on title, that complicates it as well. So, I mean, for them to find properties like this, it'd probably be like getting a needle in a haystack, and then they have to do all of the identity fraud and everything else and line everything else up and get a buyer and make sure that the people aren't going to be home. So I'd say it's very, very unlikely that anyone has to worry about it. But there are some stuff, I guess, that you can do to try to limit.
So if somebody was really worried about this happening, what would be your advice to them? How could they possibly make their home less interesting to a criminal?
If you have a charge on title, so if you didn't have, if you're mortgage free, you could talk to a mortgage broker about getting a HELOC or a line of credit on your house that you don't have to activate or use, but potential, title thief, for lack of a better word, seeing on title that there is a charge would probably make them move on. You'd probably if you're going to go out of town, you could talk to your neighbours or your family or, whomever is, going to keep an eye on your property and say, if a for sale sign gets put in the yard and some people that don't look like me are pretending it to be me, maybe call the police or something like that. So, I mean, having people look after your investment while you're away or, like maybe a property manager, that type of thing, that might be a way to go. And then thirdly would be to get an actual paper copy of your title. So as far as I understand, you could go to a lawyer and look for what's, I believe, is called an indefeasible copy or state of title. If you were to do that, that becomes the actual title that needs to be exchanged with someone else for money to sell your house, and you have to keep that in a lockbox or a safe or a safety deposit box. Typically, keep it away from your house. So if your house burns down, you're not going to have trouble later proving ownership or selling it in the future, because that can happen if you go that route and you don't. And you lose that physical title, then it can be a hassle to sell your house later on.
But that's something that probably any good real estate lawyer could help a homeowner with if they went and they talked to them.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, what I'd suggest is that if you do have concerns about this, you probably do want to go to a lawyer that does conveyance and understands title transfer and that kind of thing. There's several good ones locally on the Sunshine Coast here that could help with that. But I do believe it's such a rare occurrence, and so many things would have to line up, incorrectly, and someone would have to steal the identity of the owner and that kind of stuff. That it's extremely unlikely that that's something that needs to worry about. But it is interesting when it makes the news, because it's like, how does that happen?
Tony, what listings do you have on the market for March of this year?
Well, Paul, what don't I have this week? There's lots of listings there. I'm the same as the market. Lots of people kind of bringing their stuff online, and I think it's a smart move to do, because you don't want to wait until spring or summer when everyone else is on there, and we've probably had another interest rate hike. 727 Gower Point Road, that one has been price adjusted to $1,479,000. Waterfront, beautiful, great view. It's got its own little dock type structure for a deck down on water level. You couldn't get that again, so that one I'm sure will sell this month. It's a great deal, and that is going to be an open house coming up. We have the little 2-bed, 1-bath unit on North Road. That one, I believe, should have a price adjustment by the time this goes out. And if that's still available, that's a great deal with a nicely renovated kitchen and a private little yard. Good entry level, no age restrictions on that one. So it could be great for someone downsizing or for someone, looking for their first home kind of thing. Then we have some fantastic stuff out further out, Seashell, Madeira Park, some really nice big view homes out that way. Do have all the businesses, obviously, that we've got listed. And Sluggers Gym is still available, which is my pick as far as the commercial goes. And then lots more coming on. So, I think if you're buying, now's the time to get out and have a look, because there's a lot of good deals, a lot of motivated sellers. And as long as you're going to hold the property for a year or two, then more than likely the market will bottom out by the time you look to sell, and you'll have built some equity as opposed to paying rent for someone else. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. While you're here, maybe you want to check out one of my listings or watch my video about why you should choose me to sell your home.